Once a year, the best of the best gather at Mid-Atlantic Wrestling to prove who truly is the finest wrestler on the independent scene today. All in honor of one of the great legends in the Cornellverse, Rip Chord. Welcome to the 5th annual Rip Chord Invitational. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is the first show that we'll be booking for Mid-Atlantic Wrestling in 2010. And of course, the year always starts with the Rip Chord Invitational. One of the biggest tournaments in the Cornellverse. Today we're going to have 8 guys. Yes, 8 guys in a one-night single elimination tournament. And the winner is going to bring home the Rip Chord Invitational Championship. Let me show you guys the bracket for tonight's matches. In the first round, we're going to have Steve Flash take on last year's Rip Chord Invitational champion, Cameron Vesey. And then we're going to have the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion himself, American Patriot, taking on the man he defeated to win that title, Mean Gene Catley. Citizen X is going to take on Ricky Douglas in another round 1 match that's going to pit high-flying action against groundwork mat wrestling. And finally, J Chord, one of the members of the Succession, a stable of second-generation superstars including J Chord, Cameron Vesey, Casey Valentine, and Brett Starr, will be taking on a newcomer to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, and his name is Matthew Keith. It's the battle of the second-generation superstars here tonight, and only one of these 8 men will become the Rip Chord Invitational Champion. So this is what the bracket is going to look like for today's matches. We're going to get the show started. I have everything booked already, so we're going to get it started in just a little bit. And we're going to do that. Come on, game. Don't do this to me. Here we go. We're going to do that right now. Starting off the night with Steve Flash versus Cameron Vesey. Steve Flash, a veteran, one of the best people when it comes to just basic, solid, very good wrestling. He's not flashy. He's not ironic given the name. He's not flashy. He's not exactly the best promo in the world. But you know what? He puts on really good matches with a lot of different people, as he did right here with a 54 C-. Steve Flash defeats last year's Rip Chord Invitational winner. Very strong performance from Steve Flash as well. 54 from Flash and a 37 from Vesey. So the Rip Chord Invitational is off to a good start. Next we have the battle of the second generation superstars, J Chord and Matthew Keith. And Matthew Keith defeats J Chord by defeating him in his own game. Matthew Keith actually using a foreign object. I believe, in my head canon, when I'm booking Matthew Keith here, I think he's going to use a chain. Yeah, that's going to be his weapon. I like that. Matthew Keith defeating J Chord by beating him in the head with a chain. A bit of a shock, a bit of an upset. A newcomer defeating the leader of the Succession. And that's because Matthew Keith is the new leader of the Succession, ladies and gentlemen. After the match, Keith, Brett Starr, Cameron Vesey, Casey Valentine, they all come into the ring and they beat down J Chord. And Matthew Keith cuts a promo with the rest of the Succession saying that new blood is in and old blood is out. Matthew Keith, the son of legend Sam Keith, and now the leader of the Succession. Moving on to round 2 of the Rip Chord Invitational. Next, we have Citizen X versus Ricky Douglas. 38 D-. Not a great match, but decent enough given the time that they had and the match that we were going for. Citizen X going over after hitting a Flaming Anarchy. This should have been better. But I only really gave them 15 minutes. I'm sure they'll do much better with a lot more time, and especially as they get more over. In a D+, in a 51 D+, Mean Gene Catley, the former champion, upsets the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion, American Patriot. And with that, the Heavyweight Champion is out of the Rip Chord Invitational in just the first round. Mean Gene Catley in 14:51 getting the pinfall after using the ropes for leverage. That dirty, dirty man. So let's just take a look at the bracket for real quick. I know you can already see that match, but here we got for round 2, we have Steve Flash versus Mean Gene Catley, and we have Matthew Keith versus Citizen X. So let's get back to that match right now. In 6 minutes 7 seconds, Matthew Keith defeats Citizen X using the Proton Lock, his father's signature patented maneuver. With a performance of 51, Matthew Keith really kind of killing it in this tournament, going over Citizen X. Matthew Keith moves on to the final. In 8 minutes 7 seconds, Steve Flash defeats Mean Gene Catley with a flashbang, moving on to the finals as well. And so we have Steve Flash versus Matthew Keith in the finals of the 5th annual Rip Chord Invitational. Who will take home the title tonight? Just a reminder, the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship is not on the line during this tournament, so American Patriot is still the champion, not Mean Gene Catley. Oops, sorry. Alright, let's get back to the show. We actually have some non-tournament action right now. We're going to have a tag team championship match, and it is between the Awesomeness, Huey Jefferson and Huey Cannonball and Jefferson Stardust. I kind of turned them into like one person. Oops. My bad, guys. Huey Cannonball and Jefferson Stardust against the Atlantic Connection with Curtis Jenkins and Riley McManus. Let's see how that match turns out. 27E. Not very good, guys. Sorry. The Awesomeness retains the title after Jefferson Stardust pinned Riley McManus with using the ropes for leverage. Damn it, D'Lo. And they make their first successful defense of the Mid-Atlantic titles. Well, I'm hoping it'll get better. Like, they're all kind of actually on the same page, if you look here. And even Riley McManus was kind of the standout between these four, so that's a bit of a shock. So let's see where we can go with this. In the finals of the Rip Chord Invitational, Matthew Keith defeats Steve Flash in 16:22 while illegally using the ropes for leverage. Damn it, D'Lo. You can't really pick the finish they use. You can just kind of say tainted or whatever. So for this one, let's just say that Matthew Keith used the chain as well. So Matthew Keith defeating Steve Flash in 16 minutes 22, and Matthew Keith wins the Rip Chord Invitational. He celebrates with Rip Chord after the show. And there we have it, the first show of a brand new year under a brand new booker, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Rip Chord Invitational. Let's see what our overall grade is. 42. I know a lot of that is because I did not upgrade the production settings. I wanted to save on the money. But we did gain popularity in one region. So for me, successful show. And we sold out the Stanley Hall, 300 people. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode. We're going to have another one coming up soon. What is the fallout from Matthew Keith winning the Rip Chord Invitational and becoming the new leader of the succession? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, and have a good one.